Welcome back, guys, to the channel. I'm Jake Ellenbogen, and today we'll be talking about Rams second-year wide receiver Van Jefferson as part of our 2021 LA Rams projection stat series. If you like what you hear, if you like what you see, be sure to subscribe, drop a comment, and of course leave a like. It helps with that algorithm that you guys have now made a meme, and I appreciate you guys for it. Without further ado, this is Van Jefferson. We'll be talking about him. Last year, he had 19 catches on 31 targets, 220 yards, and a touchdown. Wasn't the best year for Van Jefferson, but I think part of it is because Sean McVay has proven he likes to somewhat quote-unquote redshirt these offensive players. I mean, you look at, Gerald Everett, took him a while to get going, and I don't even know if he still ever got going. Josh Reynolds was always a guy that took a back seat. Really, just Cooper Kupp was a guy that was able to emerge early on. But if you look, Darrell Henderson, I mean, the list goes on. So Van Jefferson kind of took a back seat last year. Looked like he was going to be heavily involved in the passing game early on in the year. But unfortunately, that was we were led astray in that regard. So let's get into it. I think he's going to have a pretty good season. I will say I had to go back on my word. I had a Van Jefferson video when we broke down the film at Florida, and then, of course, his NFL film. And I had a video that said he was going to break out in a way that he would be the leading receiver on the team. Well, since then, the Rams have gone out and they've added Deshaun Jackson and Tutu Atwell, so I don't feel as though he's going to lead the team in receiving. Just a thought. But I think he's still going to have a pretty productive season. Solid season. A season that he can definitely look on to build off of heading into year 3. So without further ado, here is the sophomore ascension of Van Jefferson. And we're starting off right off the cuff. We have 44 receptions in 17 games. Look, I know that's not a ton. I know I might be lowballing him. And to be honest, I don't even like giving him 44. I think he could have more than that. But the fact of the matter is this. I think Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp are going to be the go-to guys. Matthew Stafford hasn't had a consistent target since Calvin Johnson. Marvin Jones has been there, but pretty much he hasn't had two guys consistently. It's been Golden Tate. It's been Kenny Golladay. I mean, guys are hurt constantly. So I think he's going to definitely get used to the fact that Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods are models of consistency, and we'll look to them before anyone else. But don't sleep on Van Jefferson. I have 44 receptions. But to go with those 44 receptions, I have 611 yards. Now, you might think that's also lowballing Van Jefferson, and you might be right. But I'm trying to be realistic here. I think Van Jefferson is going to have a very good season, and Mike Clay of ESPN is even projecting 500 yards out of Van Jefferson. He has Deshaun Jackson having more yards. I understand Deshaun Jackson was signed to that deal, and I understand that scared some people away on their projections of Van Jefferson, but I will say this. I think he's very talented. I watched him in person at the Senior Bowl. He was the best guy there. He's the fastest guy there. You had two guys that ran in the 4.3s that were there, in Denzel Mims and, of course, Devin Duvernay. But here's the fact. Van Jefferson wasn't used correctly last season, and a lot of that was because of Jared Goff. 31 targets, only 19 catches on the season. I expected more, and I was disappointed, but not in Van. I was disappointed in the Rams' usage of Van. But now, insert Matthew Stafford, things open up, opportunities open up, and so I have Van Jefferson with 44 receptions for 611 yards in the 2021 season. But moving on, we have yards per game at 35.9. You could have figured that out if you did the math, but I did it for you. 35.9 isn't great, but he's going to be a third or fourth option. I'd say that's pretty good. And when you look at the fact that he's going to be sharing time probably with a Deshaun Jackson, a Tutu Atwell, a Tyler Higbee, maybe even Bryson Hopkins, that's definitely something you can't hate on. So I think Van Jefferson is going to be the third option in this offense. But I do think that you have to temper expectations. You can't have him going over 1,000, but you can't have him going under 500, in my opinion. Just my opinion, of course. That also means he's going to average out 13.8 yards per reception, which is the most I've projected of any receiver thus far, and I think that's very reasonable. He's the fastest receiver out of the top three when you look at Kupp and Woods. But the thing about Van that I really love is his ability after the catch, but also his ability to go up and get it. And I think that's been something that hasn't really been showcased at this level in the NFL, because Jared Goff won't just throw it to a guy that is covered and have him just go up and make the play. Matthew Stafford will. So I think we're going to see a lot of stuff that we didn't see last year out of Van Jefferson. And so for 44 receptions, 611 receiving yards, 35.9 yards per game, 13.8 yards per reception, that leads to the last stat here. And this is a big one. This is one that's very important to a lot of people. And I have him hitting pay dirt, aka the end zone, 10 times on the season. So just one shy of Cooper Kupp. He comes in at third place in the receiving game. And look, I think Van Jefferson, obviously you saw what he can do in the red zone. Van Jefferson's going to be able to get open. He's very quick footed, and this is somebody that's a great route runner. I think he can create that separation on the quick slant. I think he can create the separation on an out route near the pylon. I think he can go up and get the football. If you ask him to go get a 50-50 ball, he's 6'1". Let's stop treating him like he's 5'10". So this is somebody that I think offers severe upside in the red zone, not just as a quick slant guy, but a guy that can go up and get the football. He's underrated. He wasn't used correctly last year, and I'm sure Sean McVay, looking at the film, is thinking of all sorts of ways that he can be used with Matthew Stafford. So I'll say this: don't sleep on Van Jefferson in his second season with the Rams in 2021. He's got a legit quarterback. He has a bunch of weapons around him. We way too often think of how much that hurts a player. We think too much, well, Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp, you both have going over 1,000 yards, so it's going to cut into Van Jefferson's workload. And you're right. But at the same time, think about this. Nobody on this Rams team is getting double teamed. You're not double teaming Robert Woods because you have to leave Kupp open if you do. You're not double teaming Cooper Kupp because Robert Woods. You can't double team Van Jefferson ever because you have Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Deshaun Jackson, Tutu Atwell, Tyler Higbee, Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson. I mean, the list goes on. And this is why having all of these threats in this offense is going to lead to big time results. It's why Stafford is in for an MVP season, in my opinion. And it's why I think that Van Jefferson, albeit isn't a 1,000-yard receiver this year, does make some significant strides to get to that point where you think, okay, this guy can lead the receiver group if and when the team decides to move on from a Robert Woods or a Cooper Kupp. But that's going to do it for me on this quick hitter video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to check out my other Van Jefferson video, basically going over the film, breaking it down, highlighting what he's good at, what he wasn't used with, how he was held back even at Florida, and how he was held back with the Rams last season. If you like the channel, again, be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to drop a comment for the algorithm, and be sure to subscribe. And if you want to help it further, you can go over to my Patreon and become a patron today, or sign up $4.99 a month for my channel membership. That's going to do it for me. You guys take care. I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll talk about Deshaun Jackson. Later, guys.